Hi, I'm Master Sergeant Anthony Balester, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what exactly makes a Charlie Parker improvised solo so great. The example I'll be using is Yardbird Suite. If you're like me, when I became very interested in music, I was really drawn to Charlie Parker's music. And as a high school student, I knew I loved it. It was awesome, but I didn't understand exactly what made it so great because it's a lot more than just playing the chord changes. But as I went on and studied music more in college and in graduate school, I learned that hey, every one of his solos kind of has a method to his madness, if you will. And there's certain things that you're going to find in every Charlie Parker solo that give it that uniqueness, both in tribute he was paying to the people that came before him, and new things that he kind of added to the dictionary. Yeah, music's never been the same since. So here we go. Right, if you take a look at the beginning, you can see I kind of color coded the whole thing here. Right at the beginning, one of the first things is stepwise lines placing the chord tones on the beat. So that's something that's been around for a while since the beginning. Louis Armstrong would play chord tones on the beat, and then he's also changing at the chord change. So that's something also. Now, right, if you look at the purple, that's really kind of the first thing that he did. To my knowledge, he's the first person to play that flat nine, sharp nine sound. So he's playing that over that G7, and this is all in concert pitch too, by the way. And then if you also look, right on the downbeat of the solo, which is measure two here, he's playing an arpeggio, which again goes back to Louis Armstrong. Timing changes, playing the chord changes. So we got some more stepwise lines, placing chord tones on the beat. Then you see some more of that flat nine, sharp nine. What he does here is kind of interesting. He's actually playing the flat nine, sharp nine of the dominant chord that occurs naturally in this piece. It's a tritone sub here, that D flat seven. It's what we'd call a Neapolitan chord in classical music, but he's playing the flat nine, sharp nine of that G7 over the D flat seven. So chord substitutions, that's another thing Charlie Parker kind of added to the vocabulary. He's also paying tribute to Lester Young. Lester Young is the first guy who decided that it was hip to kind of play against the chord changes. And what I mean by that is, instead of playing each chord change going from chord to chord to chord, Lester Young deliberately avoided some, and one of those is that 5/7 that occurs naturally. So if you kind of look here, you'll see throughout this whole piece, he'll never just straight up play the natural 5/7, which is G7. He'll play something else, and he'll use some of that horizontal language that kind of harkens back to Louis Armstrong. Now, what do I mean when I say that? By horizontal blues language, what I'm talking about is something called the major blues scale, which when I say that, I'm talking about a major pentatonic scale. So that's scale degrees 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of a major scale. So here it's going to be C, D, E, G, A. And then you're also going to have a flat third, a minor third thrown in there, so E flat. So if you look just a little bit ahead, you'll see that's the first place he uses that language. And you'll also see that G7 there in measure 9. He does not play that G7. He just plays that horizontal language against the chord change. Let's go on from there. You're going to see more stepwise lines placing the chord tones on the beat in measure 11. Then you'll see him anticipate that C7 chord change, and also towards measure 11 if you look at that. And then, back to kind of more same stuff, stepwise motion at the chord change. You see the arpeggios right on the C7. He's arpeggiating that there too. Arpeggiates the B flat 7. If you look to the bridge of the piece, starting in measure 18, you see a lot more of that green, that stepwise lines placing the chord tones on the beats, and also the red for the motion at the chord change. So that's something that he kind of got from Lester Young. Like, you'll notice the blues language, that horizontal playing against the chord changes other places, but you don't see it there. And that's because Lester Young is the guy who started just playing like very vertical. For when I say vertical, I mean just playing the chords, playing from chord to chord during the bridge. So anyway, that's kind of where that comes from. Look ahead, something else he kind of did that was cool, pick up to measure 24. That's a melodic sequence of the previous measure. And that is something that is commonly used in classical music. He was a great admirer of classical music, and kind of vice versa. Just great artists admire each other regardless of the discipline. So getting out of the bridge, you'll kind of see some more of the same stuff, at the end. Stepwise lines, stepwise motion, arpeggios, and then something else too that he brings the piece to a close, or his solo to a close, with some more of that horizontal melodic blues language, and again that's going against the dominant chord, the 5/7 chord that occurs naturally. So he's creating, in a way, even though he's just playing stuff that falls in the key, he's creating a form of tension by kind of going against the grain by playing that there. So I hope you learned a little bit more about Charlie Parker and his solos and what make them great. And I'll see you around next time. Thanks a lot.